What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic podcast. Today is a quick fix, a short little episode to help you in one area where we're each going to give you some tips. Today it's accepting criticism, quick fix 42. I'm Danny. I'm here with my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
Hey, Danny, good to see you again.
Good to see you too. So, accepting criticism,
Yeah.
why? Yeah,
Well, that introduction was kind of subpar. I think you could have worked on the.
I know.
Yeah.
Could have more energy, could have done, this and that.
There's always room for improvement. And a lot of times people want to make it known that you can improve. So
Yeah.
we're going to go over a couple quick fixes today to help everybody accept criticism.
Well, and it's funny too. I think it's our education, our fear of failure, and that expectation that we should be perfect now, the first time we do something. And that just is unrealistic. Everything takes time. So criticism is a great way for that, right?
Dude, I always like the saying that like done is better than perfect. And like,
Yeah.
Perfect
Good is better than perfect any day.
Yeah, exactly. So just like get it done. Because here's the thing, we're all gonna get feedback we're all gonna get criticism all the time. And this is a great way for us to move forward in life.
Absolutely. All right. So let's do these tips. I'm gonna start since it's my day. So my first one's interesting, but it's don't accept it always outright. I think, this is, I think this is a big mistake. So we should accept criticism, but I think you have to evaluate where the criticism is coming from sometimes, and you have to be confident enough to know when it's good criticism or just not worth it and not helpful. So if you're instructing a class and you're teaching and you offer criticism for writing a paper, that's good criticism to accept. But somebody at work might be against you or might not know what you're actually talking about. Their criticism is not going to necessarily be helpful. So you have to kind of also know what criticism to accept.
Dude, I think that this one is so brilliant because so many people experience it with like expectations of their family. Like, let's say somebody wants to be entrepreneurial and they invest some money and they lose it all and they learn a lesson from it. And then their uncle, who thinks he knows everything about everything, says, see, I told you it wasn't going to work out. You're never going to be successful. You shouldn't even try. And it's like, why are you listening to this guy? He's not a success. So why would you bother listening to him? It's like the best advice ever. Don't listen to criticism if it's not warranted.
No, know who it's coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I look at it on the other way, actually accepting criticism, looking at it as feedback. And here's why. Because if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't tell you. Most people, if I don't care about somebody, I'm not going to bother putting forward the energy or anything to try and help them. So really, even though it may hurt in the moment, it may sting, you may think that they're threatening you or accusing or whatever, see that they actually care enough about you to provide some criticism so that you can hopefully get better.
You know what I really like about that too? I was just thinking is when you really try hard too, and people see that, they're motivated to help by offering criticism. We call it constructive criticism, right? Because they see you're putting in the effort and they want you to do well because they see you trying. And it's like when you don't try, you don't get the same level of criticism because, it's like people see that you're not really bothering and don't care. So it's like, why would they put the effort in? I love that one. It's a great one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My next one is, so this one is listen to what's being said. I think, a lot of times we struggle with criticism because, we take it personally as an attack on us. And I think, I've seen this so many times where people like freak out or they think, it's a personal attack, but they're really, when you listen to what the person's saying, they're talking about a project. They're talking about something you're working on, things you could improve. So usually it's not about you. It's about the greater goal. It's about, maybe new ideas, maybe something came up, right? So you have to listen to actually hear what's being said rather than just reacting or responding.
Yeah, that's a great one. And also it goes even beyond just like trying to figure that out, but even like seeing where the person's coming from. Like possibly they had a really bad day and then they're just kicking the cat, they honestly don't care. They just like, they're in a bad mood. They just had a bad meeting, whatever, a fight with the spouse. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And eventually it's just, they're just kicking someone's cat. So listening is a really helpful thing to help pick out the nuggets of gold in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my next one, number 2, is practice humility. I mean, you touched on this earlier on, how we all want to get it right the first time. But practicing humility, realizing we're human, we're prone to error, we're
Yeah.
not going to be good at stuff for a long time until we actually put in the work to become good at it. But here's the thing, if it's worth being good at, it's worth sucking at until you can get good. And that's where the criticism helps, because I mean, just having the mentality that you're just going to keep on going until you get it, and then realizing that this criticism, people are literally like handing you the answers you need to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and you just need to keep on doing it until they don't have any more answers to give you. And then you've got it and you're golden.
Yeah. It's nice. You know what I like about that one too? I was just thinking about this too. And like our love of superhero movies, right? Because like the superheroes, something happens and instantly they become awesome. And like, right, and they have all these abilities. It's like they didn't have to work for it. They got bit by a fucking spider or something. It's like some random thing happens, or they're just great to begin with. And it's like we all want that, we all expect that from ourselves, but it's just totally Look at the people who instantaneously get rich, lottery winners. They lose their money almost immediately and they're more unhappy afterwards. And so right.
like it's actually the struggle and the difficulty going through it to actually achieve what you want. That's what's worthwhile, the person you become, not the actual goal that you want.
Well, what's great about that too is like that example is lottery winners too. Often, like all of a sudden, everybody comes out of the woodwork asking for money, and they don't feel like they necessarily earned it, and the other people don't think they earned it, and so it's like a free for all, and they don't know how to manage it. And I think it's a great example because it's like where you fail because it's instantaneous, but you didn't do anything for it, right? I like that one. So my last one is none of us are perfect. We all need to improve. We need insight and how to improve. And criticism is like it's a teaching experience, right? You learn something. And I think the other side of that too is finding good critics, right? Finding the people who can actually offer you good critiques that will help you really improve, really get better, right? It's like if you want to be a tennis pro, you're not going to go to your high school coach. Probably you're going to find somebody who's a professional coach to help you get better, right? And so you can get that critique that you need to actually excel and do really well.
And that's a great point. Like they always say that you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So putting yourself in the environment where you can get feedback from people who are better than you at what you want to be, do, or have, because that's going to be the best criticism you can get. And if you put yourself in that scenario, you're going to learn the fastest. So similar to that, my last one is gamify it. So make it, everybody's trying to avoid criticism. Why not gamify it? Make it the more criticism, the better. Like I've oftentimes tried to get fired from jobs because like there's just like some stuff where like I'll be working with people and I'm just like, how are they still working here? And I'll be like, okay, let's see what I can do. And it's just like,
oh dude, it's amazing what you can get away with.
It's absurd. Like there's literally, the bar is so low. It's like you got to fog a mirror and then you're good. Other than that, there's no qualification. But it's like gamifying it where you're like, okay, criticisms hurt me. And this is something we've talked about previously with like the 1,000 times mental projection of something, where like right now criticism hurts. Now, if I get criticized 1,000 times, probably on the 1,000th time, it's not going to hurt as bad. Well, I can do that mentally as a mental exercise right now, or I can just aim to try and get the most criticism possible now so that I can learn the quickest way possible.
I love that one too, because it's like, you're, by thinking of it in that context, you're shifting your perspective. You're not looking at it as a negative thing, but you're looking at it now as like it's like a goal, right? It's like something you gain. It's coins that you're picking up, whatever, however you want to look at it, right? And it changes, basically how you interpret the whole situation. So now it becomes the aim rather than, the avoidance or the thing that you're trying to, get around. I like it. That's a great one. All right. So you guys should all be better at accepting criticism now. Those are your tips, right? Quick fix, real short. Check us out later this week for a full episode. We always come back midweek with quick fixes. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to all that. If you're listening on the podcast, check us out on YouTube. Also subscribe, share with your friends, get it out there. But it was fun, Randy. Until next time.
Later, we have our 100th episode coming up soon.
We do. I forgot about that. We really
Yeah.
do. Damn. Yeah, we're getting there.
Mhm.
Wow. Almost 2 years worth of content already. Look at that. Anyway,
I know.
all right. Later.
Later, Danny.